Hello! Hello. Today is one prompt that I have seen before October started. I didn't do any real thinking about it, and I'm sorry if you can hear the kids screaming outside. The area outside our house is a relatively wide open space, so it tends to get full of playing kids after school time, which 5:30 is. So, secure salad. Way to start off the 7th drawing of the month. Weird to think that this time last week there were no Drawctober drawings, and now there are too many. So one thought that just came to me. Oh shush. Coming up to this, like just before turning the microphone on. I'll just look up a reference image for this. It's not really a salad vegetable, but bear with me here. It is a secure vegetable. Shush. I can hear you. My microphone's picking you up and I can hear that. They're not shushing. So, they really are going at it, aren't they? I'm drawing on the highlights layer. That won't be helping matters. Thankfully, drawing black on a highlights layer does absolutely nothing. So, it's particularly not a salad vegetable in this form. Bigger than that. And I hope before long you'll be able to see where I'm going with this. Bit of corn on the cob. Put my glove on. What have I done with my glove? It's a wig. It's a cloth. What have I done with my drawing glove? Summit daft, apparently. Never goes far from desk. Shouldn't go anywhere from desk. I'm a very organised person. Yeah, all I done with it. Oh, it's right there. I did look there, but, you know, sure, eyes just don't see it. think I'm now drawing the corn too big. And this will take quite a bit of neatening up to make it look properly like a corn. I'm aware of that, because at the moment it's all angular. And actually I'm going to cut it a little shorter. A bit of line out around here. Jeremy, don't try to go to space on a corn cob. That's all I can say. It's inadvisable. Right. And I'll need to round off a load of corners. Corn. I see what I did there. I don't know if they like it any more than anyone else does, but that will take a while. So for now I will get to oh, I've already drawn a 4. I can't pretend that's not how I draw 4s. And let's have this row of corn. I have not seen the image of a corn cob, except instead of corn, it's teeth. Thanks. I now see it in my mind, which it's not better. I suppose I probably deserve that mental image. Cheers. certain varieties of nerds will notice that I decided I couldn't be bothered thinking of random numbers after a certain point and just jumped into pi. Actually, I jumped into pi right at the beginning. I thought I jumped in further into it than that, rather than just right after the decimal point. 9, 2. Oh, these don't line up at all, do they? That should be more like that. That's irritating. How did that happen? There wasn't even a broken line there to begin with. The teeth cob. Oh, that makes it make much more sense, yes. Oh, these corns are getting small. Okay, that corn cob starts not making much sense towards the end of it. It starts off making perfect sense, and then it all sort of peters out. I think I'll neaten that up in the ink because it's not going to get any neater in pencil. Just put these in so I know how I'm neatening it up. Problem with salad is you need a lot of things to make a salad. And corn on the cob on its own won't do it. Put a fancy corn skewer on it. How about you be fancy but symmetrical still? That's the fanciest thing. There we go, that makes it better. Okay, I know kind of what I'm doing with that. Cheers! I'm actually gonna add a colour layer because I think it might not make the most sense without one. Little oranger, a little pale actually. I'm still on the eraser tool. That's why that's not doing anything. Pencil needs to... No, now I just started drawing on the pencil layer. Whee. I should just go around the outside and bucket fill this, but I've made my bed now. What's the word for the phrase I'm thinking? Is it metaphors? Things like, you've opened this can of worms, now lie in it. Shove two metaphors together without any regard for the safety of anyone involved. Not quite a malapropism. Although I can't remember what a malapropism is now. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. That sort of thing. Pale, but not as grey as that. There we go. Let's corner the cop combination lock. It is Malifaux. Does that ring go 6, 7 Omega? No, it doesn't. It goes 8, but I added more corn. Which means that it now needs more 8 adding in to make that work. I'm going to turn the colour layer off again for now. Why? I'm beginning to wonder whether I should do the whole thing by shading rather than by inking. I need something else because this isn't a salad. Right. What other secure vegetables can we get? Let's have a pad leek. Great, well I've just looked up a leek and decided I'm not drawing that, because that's not the vegetable I was thinking of at all. So I'm going to draw something that looks vaguely like a leek. And someone will probably be able to tell me what this vegetable actually is. Because it's sort of leek adjacent, but not quite. We've got a more prominent bulb on the bottom. Well, why have I drawn it facing this way around? Because that means this leaf is sort of going this way. Potato biometric scanner. Do you want me to draw a potato having its retina scanned? Are you sure about that? That needs to be longer, which means it needs to be further over here. You know what? Let's try moving everything. Does that work? It does not. It's only moving the pencil there. How do I select all layers? I don't think you can. That's irritating. So we're stuck with it. I'll keep that folding over actually, rather than erase lines, because that actually doesn't look horrible. It's something that's not quite like a leek and it's not quite like a spring onion, but it's sort of like both. I hadn't noticed the spelling error until you said that. I was thinking, it's not a spelling error, it's a pun. Then I realised, right, it's not how you spell lettuce or lettuce. You know what? I've already committed to the style of padlock that doesn't really exist, so I may as well make it a mortise style key rather than a Yale style. I don't get that one, John. Fendel everyone past it a good pace. I hope that saying it out loud I might get it, but nah. Yes, when I mentioned the things that John was responsible for in my life, I should probably have added horrible puns. Like, I forget time lock. I forget how much less puns were part of my just regular vocabulary before spending time with John. So I forget until I next spend time with John and then go, oh yeah, you ruined me, didn't you? Right. Let's get some greenery in here. A bit darker green. Colour there. I wouldn't really say I was pre-pun, but I was definitely a lot more... a lot less pun-centric than I am these days. Don't reference all layers, just reference yourself. I haven't so far this month used any paintbrushes, which is strange. I've only just really got around to learning how they work, so it's not that strange, but you know what, I'm going to cut that off there and just do that, and then get me a pale yellow thing, and go around the leak thing. That's not quite a leak, but it's close enough. I'm using leak reference images for it, but it's got more of a prominent bulb than leaks have. Just sort of do that kind of thing up it. Rather than using blending, which would do that job better, because blending doesn't fit with the style I've been going with this month. Grab a bit more of this green to go over that. Come back down here and bucket that. How's that look? Not great. That better? Hi Humphrey! See, a shallot would have been cleverer, but I'm not a very culinarily minded person, so wouldn't know a shallot when I see one. I mean, it's not good, is it? I think what this needs is a paler shade down here. No, paler than that. Like nearly white. Why are vegetables complex colours? Eat your greens, they say. Didn't say anything about the 59 shades of yellow. Why did I colour this? Okay, we're sort of half an hour in, and so far I've drawn a combination lock, corn on the cob, and pad leak. And you know what? I'm gonna... There it is. I'm gonna go back to the pencil layer. Oh, I've already got a selection. I'm gonna grab that block. I'm gonna scooch it over a bit. So it's not quite just upright. Don't forget the carrots. How do you make a carrot secure? Also, vegetables are all just horrible shapes to draw. They really are. Like, what's a carrot? Amorphous demi-cylinder thing. Just, rather not. What else do you get in salads? Tomatoes. How do you secure a tomato? I was thinking a carrot key, but then thought, no, the carrot's just such a weird shape. I really do think that this needs a third thing to make a proper salad. Another type of lock. Ooh, beetroot something. I was just thinking felony. I can't even pronounce that, John. Stop it. I've had a thought, and I am going to absolutely hate drawing this. Let's not try drawing in white, shall we? Or in virtually white. I can't even tell whether I drew anything there. Nope, that needs to be less flat on for this. Right. This is, John, an onion with layers of security. My mind has layers of something, but security is probably not one of them. What are you playing at? I've got the eraser out, that's why it's not working. Excuse me. I don't know how well this reads as an idea. See, Jeremy gets it. You don't need to lock it if no one wants what's in it. That was actually part of my approach to bike security while in Hull. I parked my bike up when I got to uni next to a nicer bike and made it at least look like the lock was on. It is a fingerprint scanner. This is a biometric onion. And you won't get that in many places. Doesn't look quite right for a fingerprint scanner with that coming round there though. That really needs to go off to the side like that. Make it look less like an onion, more like a fingerprint. These are the sacrifices we must make. Right. I think I'm gonna get on to the colour on this one now. Just gonna check I've not done any colouring on the pencil layer. Good. You've always got to check that you've not been an absolute moron Because often the answer is yes, you have. It's strange that I started setting up my layers before I start streaming, and I think pretty much as soon as I did so, I changed what layers I used. So I put in pencils. So from the very start of it, I was using a pencil layer to sketch in what I was doing, and then an ink layer, and then I did some shading. So I started putting in a pencil layer, and an ink layer, and a shading layer. Then along came absent sulfur. Okay, so I'll add a colour layer to that. No, I didn't add a colour layer, I did the colour on the ink layer, and I didn't have ink lines layer, or I did have one but I didn't use it. But it had colour, so I gave it highlights. So this one, I had a colour layer and I had an ink layer and a pencil layer and a shading layer and a highlights layer. And I added a colour layer once I started, and I'm not sure I'll ever get round to the inking. Right, let's try bucketing that in. It's a real time saver as the bucket. Actually, no, I'll do that in a lighter shade first. So when I come to drawing the rings, floating hellscape arena. Oh, why is it not closed? You can always tell it's not closed when it takes a while to think about it, because you're going, it wouldn't take you this long to fill the area where I want you to. I wonder if it's more a case of it actually pauses to go, are you sure? Are you sure about that, really? Let's make the pen a little smaller. I think I made the flesh of the onion a bit too pink. So that's a problem I'm going to have to go over in a moment. Just had to double check I wasn't inking on the pencil layer. It is possible that Mum pressed pause at some point. But Mum does have a massive lag on her computer, and I don't know why. Until recently, we used Twitch for the pub quiz that we're doing. We've been using Zoom for the last couple of weeks, and we're trying to convince members of the pub quiz that actually Discord would be easier, because yes, Zoom seems easier to use. Zoom is much easier to use wrong. Discord is harder to use wrong. And you have admins who know what they're doing so that everyone can use it right and limit their permissions so they're not able to use it wrong. But people are going, oh, Zoom is so much easier for this. It's just a shame that we're having to juggle Zoom and Messenger so that we can watch the stream on Zoom and use Messenger to talk to one another and never know whether we're coming or going. I'm going, yeah, we're not saying that we replace Zoom with Discord. We're saying we replace Zoom and Messenger with Discord. We're taking that juggling out. This is not making your life harder. We're consolidating it. If we were doing it with a tech-savvy bunch, Discord would be perfect for it, because we could just tell everyone, right, mute everyone except those in your own teams. Then you can hear the quiz and each other in the same place. But we are not going to get the pub quiz group to that level of understanding. Zoom does have chat, but not separated for separate groups. You have one chat channel and you have one voice and video channel. We do have a Discord server already set up for it, and several of the teams are already using that Discord server as their mode of communication during the quiz. Zoom also doesn't have the ability to adjust people's volumes for yourself individually. So if someone has a loud microphone, you're not hearing anyone else. And if someone has a quiet microphone, you're not hearing them. And one quiz regular has a very quiet microphone. And if you're quiet, Zoom cuts you off if someone else louder speaks. So you literally can't hear someone quiet speaking at all. It's very irritating. Anyway, I've been colouring an onion. I think I'm going to make that a bit thicker. Now that wants to go on the other side of these lines. Well, that already looks more onionly. That's good to know. Try turning the pencil layer off so I can see more precisely what I'm doing on the colours. goes around a whirl in the middle. It hadn't occurred to me that that means that there's a line that's inside and outside are the same. Oops. I'll come back to that. Hi, John. I mean, there's plenty of food here. You know what was strange with trying to work out what Mum's delay was Mum was messaging me a text saying what time it was for her to see sort of how much the delay was. But of course when you say it's 7:30, there's no delay on text, so when it arrives for me it's also 7:30. Speaking of which, it's 6:30 and I'm colouring in the layers of an onion. What a wild ride. There's a cooking guide that Jen's introduced me to, which gives a good simple tip when working with onions. The key to not crying while cutting onions is don't form an emotional attachment. Ah! Where are you? Who stole my onion? Another trick to not crying when you cut onion is buy pre-diced onion. Because then you'll never want to eat onion again. Sparing you the experience for eternity. We do have swimming goggles here somewhere, I think. I was just thinking, I should probably get them out for this onion, and then realised this isn't a real onion. And I won't be cutting a real onion tonight. Go. Missed one. That'll do for the onion. Now then, I think I'm gonna move on to shading. I'm gonna use a slightly greenish tone for the shadows. Slightly smaller brush here. Not that green a shade. How's that? Yeah. This, I'm sorry to say, could take ages. Just shading in a load of bloody sweet corn. This is not going to be the most interesting thing to watch. So, there's a motorbike outside the house. That's nice. Do that. Oh, that doesn't make sense at all. Does that? Sort of. Actually, I'm not sure that should be doing that. Have I changed? How have I changed shading colour? How the hell did that happen? Did anyone see when that happened? I've not changed shading colour, I'm on the wrong layer. The end of the corn cob is where it is weirdest to work out how shadows work. The rest of it should be fairly logical, I think. And pretty much just a case of drawing a sort of rounded cross thing like these at the gap. Right, how corny does that read without a pencil? That's not so bad, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised at that. I can live with that. So much for neatening it up in the inking layer. I'm actually just not going to bother with an inking layer at all. Because who needs planning ahead? I'm drawing a salad. Well, I'm drawing 3 vegetables. I'm going to put these crosses in at the edges so that I can see where the edges are. And then probably go back to ignoring the pencil layer. Because the pencil layer is a mess. So did you keep the goggles on for the Kaylee? Right, the microphone can hear that. I can't remember whether I've danced in my brass goggles. They're behind me. Yes, they are. They're out of view on that shelf. Pair of fancy brass goggles that Jen got me for her birthday. Her birthday. I just realised that sounded like I said her birthday, which would be a bit confusing. I'm gonna round off some corners there. Including the onions that you just put in it? That's not fair. Okay, let's try and make this shading make a bit more sense, shall we? Starters. No. starters, let's be on the sodding shading layer when we try the shading. Thankfully, I grabbed the colour that was under the shading. Unlike what I just did there. Shading. I know I should lock the other layers, but this is where we are now. This is actually coming on to look like corn. Not very long ago, I would not have expected this miraculous turn of events. I'm actually just going to do that whole line down there. It's Molly. I was thinking, I can hear a noise, and I have no sonar location because of headphones. But there is a noise happening in this room, and it doesn't correspond with any moving I'm doing. It's Molly settling in her box. Oh, the heating just came on. How are we doing for time? It's 7:15. Boiler's about to start whistling, isn't it? Because that's what boilers do for some reason. Or what our boiler does for some reason. Is a whistling boiler a problem? Please let us know, because our boiler whistles. Oh, it's not doing now. That's enough heat, apparently. Which seems fine by me, because I'm quite warm in here. That said, I do me state-mandated daily exercise in this room not long before recording. I've gone back to wearing weights for it again. So, I dance for me, daily exercise. Early this year, White Rose Morris hosted the Cliff Barstow Memorial Jig Competition online, which was, as far as we know, the first online hosted jig competition, because interesting times and all that. And as a result, I have a load of jig music recorded by Nick Barber on this computer. So I do a jig. I do Old Tom, and I sing to it, with the idea being that I can get myself into being able to sing and dance at the same time. And I've got myself to the point where I can do that with Old Tom. So I decided to put my weights back on again. And having 2 kilograms strapped to each ankle and 1 kilogram strapped to each wrist don't half change the picture. Quite out of breath by the end of it. And therefore I don't really need the heating on for quite a while after that. One thing that I have found though is dancing while singing easier than dancing while playing kazoo. I don't know why this is. Because the first time I tried anything like that, I was dancing Old Tom while playing kazoo, and I was doing it as a double jig, which means you get to rest. And I came out of that far more tired than I come out of dancing it, singing it, as a solo jig. So there's no time to stop. Why? I don't know. So much corn! Why is there so much corn on a cob? Unnecessary level of encryption. Often don't bother with the daily exercise thing on Wednesdays because it's Mara's practice night, so I'll be doing more dancing later. Hey up, John. But I think I'd already started dancing today by the time I realised that it was Wednesday and I'd be dancing later as well. So, oh well. If you eat the lock, then you can't get in anymore. I think. That seems to sort of make sense. How's that looking? That's looking not unlike corn. I'm always pleasantly surprised by this fact, so zooming out going, hey, corn! It's not like I've spent the sort of best part of the last hour drawing corn, only for it to look like corn. When I start rounding off these crosses, I always start with the corner that makes it look like a number 4, or how I draw a number 4 anyway. There, a different corner this time. At no point did that look like a number 4. That's a cat in another room, washing themselves. Probably Captain. amazing how unsoundproof this house is and how much you realise that when you're having the sounds of the house fed into your ears through headphones, going, oh, I can hear Jen opening a drawer upstairs. I don't think you've bypassed the lock for another few hours, and actually with sweet corn. I'm nearly done here, aren't I? I can get on to doing things that aren't shading in the individual gap between individual pieces of sweet corn. Because there's more to this world, there's more to this drawing than just all this corn. I missed a whole row. Which removes, I dare say, an order of magnitude from the cryptographic complexity of this sweet corn. Oh, no, there isn't one there, that's an offset row. Corn! It looks like there's shading on it even though there isn't. That's slightly strange. Well, it looks like there's more shading on it than there is even. Now then. Oh, get her off! Actually, probably not that far onto it. Let's do the that bit. To give it its technical name, the that bit. What's the column guarding? I don't know, because I don't know the code. And I am not going to try to brute force that code. Because it's how many digits? $11 digits. Well, may be able to tell from my whistling that for some reason I have a Fortuna on the brain. And that's not why the shadow would fall there. It would sort of come across like that. I haven't really established a light source in this. So I'm all just sort of assuming. Also, the shadow comes out very dark on purple. So I might change the shadow opacity or something like that to make this a little more subtle. Yeah, that's a little better. I thought I just saw a corner I'd missed on there. So I'm going to go to the highlights now. I'm going to go for it. Yellow highlight on sweet corn will not show up. I'm going to do a weird thing and do highlights in a cold colour. I'm gonna make it a slightly lighter colour so that it shows up more. And just sort of do spot highlighting on each of these. Because we are going to be here all day if I try anything more detailed than that. And you have better things to do than watch someone colouring in vegetables. I hope. I really hope you have better things to do than watch someone colouring in vegetables. I'm really sorry if you don't. We're doing the highlights before colouring in and then sort of exposing where the highlights are with a different colour. Because digital art is magic. I am going to ink. Just a few things. Nothing on that, but my ones have probably been bugging someone for this whole video, and my 3s are probably going to go on bugging someone, and my 4s. I can hear Sydney eating. You could probably all also hear Sydney eating. going through these in no apparent order whatsoever. Hello, Mum. "656 is weird, John. What on earth am I doing there?" It's weird because when I first started this stream, I got a comment from you instantly, Mum. So, first comment here. I'm going to look to see what you said. You said, "All I'm seeing is chained lettuce." So, it didn't do bugger all. It got you to the right place. I do have 5 minutes of dead space on the beginning of these streams to essentially let people get here and account for lag and the like. I'll start putting some dead space on the end to try and account for lag at the other end in the same way. So it may have appeared to do nothing, but you were actually watching a stream and just nothing was happening yet. Oh, you couldn't see me? No. Well, you won't be able to see me till past. So I start the stream at 25 past. Give me time to make sure everything's working and things like that. But I don't turn the microphone and the webcam on and switch to the drawing until past. So past is when this really is, but the stream starts 5 minutes early. There's no real hard and fast rule of how long after the stream I stop broadcasting and cut away from that dead space at the end of it. It's just a case of I watch the stream until I see myself switch over to the end screen. You were there at 5:35 and didn't see anything. That is weird. That 8 is too low on the corn. I forgot I was supposed to be neatening the ones up. Have I missed any? I don't think so. So now if I take the pencil layer off, I've missed an 8. I'm going to grab that colour and that colour on the colour layer. And inking these hairs down here on that. Should really be in this colour. There we go. A secure salad. These are getting abstract. I say they're getting abstract. Yesterday's was a normal pair of words. Oh, that onion would have been made more sense if I'd sliced it vertically, wouldn't it? Like half the reference images I've got are onions sliced vertically, and that looks much more like a fingerprint. We're not about making sense here. What about making dubious decisions? Oh, I'm doing that with a pencil, that's weird. I won't do that with a pencil, I will grab a pen and do that. Took my glove off like it was all done and everything, and then went, oh no, let's do a bit of shading down here. Not like logical shading or anything, just sort of picking out some stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was saying goodbye, wasn't I? Because I thought I was done. Yeah. When did I last have a leek in a salad? When did I last have a salad? Yeah, it's more like collection of vegetables than salad. But what's really the difference between a collection of vegetables and a salad? I don't think there is one. Also, is a leek or a spring onion? When did I last have a spring onion in a salad? I refer you to my previous answer. I'm not really a salad person. Not really a security person. There's an old adage that intelligence is knowing a tomato is a fruit, wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. I remember saying this to someone I went to school with who said, we always put tomatoes in fruit salad, and I always eat them first. It's cherry tomatoes. I'm not a tomato fan. But controversial statement, tomato is a vegetable. It is a fruit, but it's also a vegetable, because the two aren't mutually exclusive. Quite a few vegetables are fruits. Cucumber, that's a vegetable, that's a fruit. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. That's a very secure but not very palatable salad. In the making, you have to encrypt it first, essentially. But then you will have something which is not very pleasant to eat, but possible, and would definitely be called a salad before you'd call it anything else. And with that, vegetable? Fruit vegetable. Yes, John. I'm going to disappear now and make actual food happen. And see some of you around tomorrow. Oh, Molly's got up. And see some of you around tomorrow for whatever that is. I don't yet know. See you there.